Hi, I'm Derek Pham, the Space Centric. We are just days away from the launch of Inspiration 4, the first all-civilian mission to orbit. But what exactly is the mission? And who are the lucky four going to space? In this video, I'll be breaking down the mission from its goals, its message, and the four going to orbit. Let's get to it. So for those of you who haven't heard of Inspiration 4, it is a fundraising mission for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, in which the four crew members going to orbit will help fundraise $200 million. Each of the crew members also represent one of these four virtues: leadership, hope, generosity, and prosperity. These four will be riding a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule aboard the company's Falcon 9 rocket. In fact, the Dragon they are flying aboard is the Resilience, the same capsule that took NASA astronauts Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, and Shannon Walker, and JAXA astronaut Soichi Noguchi to the International Space Station for the Crew 1 mission. Okay, enough the facts. Who are the lucky four going to orbit? The four civilians on the Inspiration 4 mission are Jared Isaacman, Haley Arsenault, Chris Sambrowski, and Dr. Cyan Proctor. Jared Isaacman is the founder and CEO of Shift4 Payments, the leader in integrated payment processing solutions. In fact, he was only 16 years old when he started the company. And other than his amazing accomplishment, Jared is also an adventurer at heart. He is an accomplished jet pilot and is certified to fly both commercial and military aircraft. He even holds several world records, including 2 speed around the world flights in 2008 and 2009 respectively, in each of which that have raised money and awareness for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He has also flown in countless air shows, each of course being for a charitable cause. Because of his leadership skills, Jared represents the virtue of leadership and will also be serving as the commander of the mission. The next crew member is Haley Arsenault, who represents the virtue of hope. At the age of 10, Haley was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a type of bone cancer. Her family took her to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, where she was treated. Her treatment included intensive chemotherapy and a limb-saving surgery. 19 years later, Haley is a PA at St. Jude, the same place that saved her life and works with leukemia and lymphoma patients. She well deserves a place on this mission, as her perseverance has inspired countless cancer patients that can do whatever they want to be. And as if this already is amazing enough, Haley will also be the youngest American to reach orbit, and the first ever pediatric cancer survivor with a prosthesis, so congratulations. Haley will also be serving as the medical officer during the mission. Chris Sambrowski is the next crew member and represents the virtue of generosity. Chris grew up with a natural curiosity about outer space, and honestly, who hasn't? He would stargaze on the roof of his high school and launch high-powered rockets. Later on in life, as a U.S. Space Camp counselor, he conducted spatial simulations that helped inspire young minds in their STEM or aerospace passions. For a time, he also served as an active member in the Air Force, maintaining a fleet of Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles in Iraq before leaving active service in 2007. After this, he earned a bachelor's degree in professional aeronautics and has sought innovative, industry-disrupting methods to monitor and maintain mechanical equipment, making everything from data centers to hospitals more efficient. The fourth and final member of the crew is Dr. Cyan Proctor, representing the virtue of prosperity. Cyan is a geoscientist, explorer, and science communication project specialist with a lifelong passion for space exploration. She was actually born in the U.S. territory of Guam while her father worked for NASA at the Islands Tracking Station during the Apollo era. In fact, her father has a signed thank you note from Neil Armstrong himself after the Apollo 11 astronauts visited the tracking station to thank the staff for their hard work in keeping them safe. Although he has passed on, Cyan still keeps her father's thank you note and can be found on Netflix's Inspiration 4 documentary series. Cyan has also participated in the all-female Sensoria Mars 2020 mission at the Hawaii Space Exploration Analog and Simulation Habitat, or HI-SEAS, as well as the NASA-funded 4-month Mars mission at HI-SEAS to investigate food strategies for long-duration space flights. On her Shift4 shop, which will be linked in the card or description below, she sells her space-inspired art. They really are masterpieces, and you should go check them out. And remember, All the money and all the profits is going to St. Jude. She was also a finalist in NASA's 2009 astronaut selection, but ultimately failed to make the class. Which doesn't matter anymore that you're going to orbit, Cyan. She has a bachelor's degree in environmental science, a master's degree in geology, and a PhD in curriculum and instruction of science education. So now that we've gotten to know the crew a little bit better, let's discuss the mission profile. As of September 10th, Inspiration 4 is scheduled to lift off from Launch Complex 39A at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. At liftoff, they will propel upwards aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 until main engine cutoff, at which point the Dragon capsule will be placed into orbit with the help of the second stage. The orbit of the capsule will actually be higher than of the ISS, allowing for the crew to be the farthest humans from Earth in more than 50 years. At this point, the crew will enjoy their 3-day stay in orbit by enjoying the stunning views out of the cupola while also conducting science experiments, before splashing back down in the Gulf of Mexico, hopefully safely, in the next 3 days after they launched. Now, something we are all concerned about is the safety of the crew. Unfortunately, space is hard, and we have lost incredible human beings to it. However, in the event of an issue, the crew of Inspiration 4 and the SpaceX ground team will sort it out, or they will be safely pulled away from the Falcon 9 if catastrophic issues happen with the rocket. Another point of worry is the cupola. Normally, the Dragon will have a docking adapter that would allow it to dock to the International Space Station, but for the Inspiration 4 launch, SpaceX has opted to replace the docking adapter for a cupola for the crew to look out of. The cupola has never been tested before, but remember, they can always close the Dragon's nose cone and abort the mission if something were to happen with cupola in orbit. Another note is that the crew of Inspiration 4 isn't your run-of-the-mill space tourist. These 4 have undergone 6 months of astronaut training, ranging from climbing Mount Rainier in Washington State to countless hours of training with the SpaceX team on simulators. All in all, we shouldn't worry about the safety much and enjoy history in the making. Inspiration 4 will be an amazing mission to watch. The crew of 4, consisting of Jared Isaacman, Haley Arsenault, Chris Zambrowski, and Dr. Cyan Proctor, will be a monumental moment in spaceflight history. The days where people like you and me can go to space is very quickly becoming a reality. Although some of us will never experience spaceflight, let us appreciate that some of the worthiest humans on Earth are experiencing it. Now remember that the entire mission is a fundraising effort for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and I'll post a donation link down below in the description along with Cyan's Shift 4 shop page. Until next time, I'm the Space Centric, wishing the crew of Inspiration 4 a safe and amazing journey while also breaking down complex things for everyday people.